next 30 days. As far as the school safety zone is concerned, we got our rejection letter from IDOT as far as a reduced speed zone. The next step is to go to Plan B, which is the LED flashing lights, which identify that there's a school because there's no actual speed reduction. We need to send a letter, and we'll be doing that this week, send it to IDOT requesting the sign locations and being specific about the sign locations. And then as far as the water tower painting project is concerned, there were some contractual issues with the inspection company for the interior of the tank. So we actually procured a second firm to actually, they're going to get a remote operated vehicle into the tank. And
It's a robot, right?
Robot, yep, exactly. ROV.
So no diver, it's a robot now.
And it'll be less than $1,000, I think was their total. And there are no contractual issues with that particular project, so we hope to get that done this month.
Also, I just want to add, going back to the Route 120 school safety zone, is we do need to get in writing from IDOT, but I did speak with Mr. Stoner at IDOT, and he has given me verbal approval for this. So we are not anticipating that we will not be allowed to do this. We just need to get the written permission to have on file and them to approve the placement.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. All right, we'll move over to our village attorney, Jim Rack.
As Mr. Bruin mentioned, we encountered some contractual issues with the water tower contractor. Those have all been worked out. We have a new contractor in place. I don't have anything else to report tonight.
Public Works.
Does that affect the price of the project?
Actually, made the price last year go down.
Oh, I like that idea.
Yeah, 1.5, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Some good news.
Yeah. Public Works Superintendent Jeff Gately.
Thank you. I will briefly just state that for the 8.5 years I've been doing this, we have never had to cut grass in the village in the month of March. So we've already been out. Right now, I'm concentrating on mowing some of the larger fields along 134, the Cranberry Lake entrance, to get all the weeds down before they get to seed, to hopefully help keep the weeds from growing where we do not want them in our entrances. Once we get through a lot of that, we're just going to end up going into the spring and summer schedule. Also been spending time, working with Greg about the water tower, water main, MFT projects as well. That's about it. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Building official, Russ Crayley.
Well, everybody's got my monthly report. You can see we did have a decent month last month. And just for your, going over our sign ordinance here.
Yes.
And in section 1.03, prohibited signs and prohibited conditions, under paragraph K, we have inflatable bibs, figurines, or similar attention-attracting devices are prohibited. So.
Okay, now what Russ is addressing is a question came up recently with one of our businesses and the prop that they have outside, the kickbox man. And I received several complaints or concerns about it. And as you all may be aware, I mentioned, Russ has been out of town recently. His father was very ill and recently passed away. So Russ is back, and Russ has been catching up on things, so I asked him to clarify that. I talked to the business owner. So Russ will be going back to the business owner.
I was going to say, I'm going to make a copy of this. If you want it, you want me to go mail or take it to him? I will take it.
I would just have you take it to him.
I will do that.
Yeah, since I brought it up already, yeah.
It'll be done.
Okay, perfect.
That's it.
That would be great. Okay, so that addresses that issue. The other thing that Trustee Duberstein was just asking me again, and this will go to, just don't have it ready for this board meeting because Russ and I haven't had the time to sit down on everything with his schedule, but we will have something at, if not the next board meeting, certainly by the May board meeting. There were some issues that came up as far as being addressed on the fencing, and I will throw it out there. I think I've mentioned it to most of the trustees verbally, but for those I've missed, let me put it out there. A concern came up regarding cyclone fencing or chain link fencing, and could we require that we're not looking to certainly ban it in any way. That's a very effective type fencing, but could we require that it be colored? That fencing now comes available very readily with the powder coat paint in black, green, or brown. So we're looking at perhaps amending the fencing ordinance to include that. And then whenever something like that comes up, we always take just a quick glance to see if there's anything else we should consider updating at that point.
Thank you.
Okay, our EMA coordinator is not present tonight. However, I have a meeting scheduled with him tomorrow morning. I know he had a prior engagement for tonight. But we will be meeting to schedule some upcoming activities and exercises, some that will include the board and staff. So I will have more information on that in the very near future. We'll move on to our 15-year with us treasurer.
Thank you again. The appropriation ordinance, I did have that filed with Lake County Clerk's office, so that part wraps everything up about that. I'm continuing working on preparing for the audit. That should be the first week of June. And I'm working on a special project from Trustee Daly right now. And I think he might elaborate tonight, or, okay, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Village Clerk, Kathy Metzler.
Okay. Deputy Clerk Roseanne Stark and I and the mayor are working on business licenses and just trying to do our everyday job. That's it.
Okay, good enough. Okay, that throws the baton my way. One thing that just, when Jeff mentioned that he's been out mowing in March, and that's the first in 8.5 years. This comes up every spring and fall, but we have a lot more of it early this spring. Is the amount of garbage blowing around this town is incredible. And Jeff and our part-time student have been out. They can pick up garbage right now 24/7. And I'm just stressing out there, especially to you residents and businesses out in YouTube land, please really try to secure your garbage. It's windy. You know, I'm still amazed at what people put out and how they put it out, and it's in the air within 5 minutes, you know. And yes, we're going to continue to pick up as best as we can, but unless something is heavy and dangerous, if you're out walking and you can pick up a piece of blowing garbage, it would be greatly appreciated. A few other things I want to add. In the packets, we're not going to spend any time on it. Just that I met with Diane Emerson, who's our rep from Commonwealth Edison. Typically at this time of year, she gets ready to deliver the annual report. It will be delayed this year so it can accommodate their new grid info. You know, there's going to be this 10-year plan of the modernization of the grid program. So there was a handout in your packets that she brought to me. So I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It's exciting, but it's going to be a long road before we start to see any of the real changes in this area. So when we get the annual report later this summer, I will share that information, and hopefully we'll have more answers for you at this time. Other item of note, coyotes, yes indeed, have been in the area. There's been quite a few sightings. I've only had one official contact though so far. We always get a few every spring and fall. I know Trustee Barrett was in contact with them as well, and one of our other trustees had a question. First of all, coyotes are protected by the Illinois wildlife. And so we're not going to go hunting for coyotes, and typically they do leave you alone. That being said, there are certain safeguards that you should take. The good news is coyotes actually help our area, and particularly we're going to need that help this spring because it was a very easy winter. The coyotes do help eliminate a high population of rodents and other fun critters that you don't want too high abundance in the area. They also do rob the geeses of their eggs and so on, and so that limits the population somewhat. They typically will leave you alone. You see them a lot in the spring, and you'll see the males boldly walking down the street because during mating season, they go all over and act a little goofy. Big surprise.
Are you considering
There you go, Jerry.
I will tell you that if you do have small pets and cats, you should take precaution. Typically, they're not as readily attacked in the area because the good news is there is plenty of food around for the coyotes to find elsewhere. And unless you see an injured or rabid-looking coyote, if you see that, you should call the police department immediately. Don't try to handle the situation, but if it is an injured animal, wild animal, or it looks rabid, then that is something let the professionals deal with, and they will do so. We will have the article in the newsletter to help build the awareness, so don't be overly alarmed by the coyotes. As the clerk stated, we've been working on business license renewals. I have been going around hand delivering them and touching base with all the business owners. So as of yesterday, I have completed delivering all the business license renewals, have had some good conversations. I will be compiling my report with brief feedback and getting copies to all of you shortly. There's been a lot of redistricting going on in the area, as you know, at the Lake County Board level. Well, it's also happening at the federal level. So our congressman, effective in the fall, will be Congressman Dole, who is, his office is located in Northbrook. He is a Republican. He has a website that you can visit, very nice website. He has been coming out and I think doing quite an impressive job spending time with officials in the area to get to know the area and what our main concerns are. So I had a very nice meeting here with him at our village hall on Tuesday, April 3rd, along with his assistant. And, you know, obviously we spent quite a bit of time talking about unemployment, jobs that are available are paying half of what they used to. And we talked about foreclosures and still the frustration with foreclosures and maintenance of properties were very high on the discussion list. The other thing I talked to him about, and he and his assistant were very positive about assisting us, they said they will have to work with Joe Walsh's office at least for the summer before this officially becomes their territory. But I approached him about the generator grant through FEMA. So they're happy to try to help us with that. So that made me feel pretty good. And I also invited him to attend a future board meeting, and I believe he will be doing that. We don't have a date picked yet. And also, he possibly may be at Hainesville Fest as well. And then one final note, we've had a lot of birthdays recently. Yesterday it was John Darnasty's birthday, so happy birthday, John. We also have a couple birthdays coming up. Kevin Barrett has a birthday on Monday the 16th. And Gary Walkington has a birthday Wednesday the 25th. So that quarterly cake that I cheated you out of last quarter, because only Wally was on the list, I made Wally feel bad. We're going to have a nice big cake at the main board meeting to cover birthdays, 15 years of service, and anything else we can possibly think of to write on the cake. March grass mowing, yeah. All right, let's move on to reports of the standing committees. Finance, Trustee Daley.
Based on some conversations I've had with a variety of you concerning the information at the last board meeting, you got me thinking, and I talked to Kelly yesterday, and the project she's working on is the development of a report that will help her for the rest of this financial year. And will help all of us next year. What the report's going to contain